All right, we're going to start with Kanye West pushing Kim Kardashian closer and closer to the edge in this battle over their kid.
He read this wrong. This is how he was rendered. This is a trainer, but come to find out, he was actually Canadian intelligence.
He has never been one to shy away from the spotlight or controversy, but his latest series of public revelations has everyone wondering if the man once hailed as a genius might also be hiding something far more unsettling. Over the past few weeks, West's social media rants have taken a dark, almost morbid turn. At the center of it all, his shocking plans for what he calls his final send-off. Yes, Ye is already designing his funeral, and trust us, it's as chaotic and grandiose as you'd expect. From the man who once compared himself to Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, and Jesus Christ, all in the same sentence, formally.
And they said they wondered if this is all just an act, which I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if Kanye's, about the puppets.
First, let's get into the details of these bizarre funeral plans because they're almost too surreal to believe. Ye, in his own words, wants his funeral to last an entire week. Not one day, not 2, 7, and not just any week-long gathering. He envisions a 10-hour service every single day where people can speak uninterrupted. Imagine that, a parade of speakers, fans, and perhaps even detractors pouring out their thoughts and feelings about Ye for 70 hours straight. But it doesn't stop there. Ye wants his embalmed body to be displayed at his late mother Donda's former home in Chicago. Yes, you heard that right. He's planning to turn his mother's old house into a public mausoleum of sorts, where mourners, or, in true Ye fashion, ticket-holding visitors, can come and pay their respects. And here's the kicker. He wants to charge an entry fee. That money, Ye insists, would go toward enriching the blocks around the house. It's a move that's equal parts altruistic and attention-grabbing, the kind of contradiction Ye has come to embody over the years.
Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these, all you fake hard.
Reactions to these plans have been predictably all over the place. Some fans see it as yet another example of West's boundary-pushing creativity, a way of redefining what it means to leave a legacy. Others, though, are deeply concerned. The sheer morbidity of the idea has many questioning West's mental state, especially when coupled with his recent social media tirades. His tweets have been a mix of the bizarre, the offensive, and the downright paranoid. He's claimed to have insider knowledge of Hollywood's darkest secrets, lashed out at other celebrities, and made vague, cryptic statements about people wanting him gone. One tweet in particular has stuck with everyone. Why do people keep calling? Me to take me out? It doesn't work that way. What does that even mean? Is Ye implying that someone or some group is targeting him? And if so, why?
Option. I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you, and you go back to zombie land.
This isn't the first time Ye has hinted at feeling unsafe or under attack. Over the years, he's made cryptic statements about powers that be in the entertainment industry, often alluding to some sort of shadowy control. He's talked about how celebrities are puppets, how their every move is dictated by unseen forces. And let's not forget his infamous 2022 interview, where he claimed that sacrificing one's personal freedom, maybe even their soul, was the cost of success in Hollywood. At the time, those comments were brushed off as yet another Ye rant. But now, with his recent talk of funeral plans and his growing paranoia, people are starting to wonder, is there more to this than meets the eye? West's behavior has always walked a fine line between genius and madness, but lately, that line seems blurrier than ever. His funeral plans might seem like just another eccentric idea, but when you pair them with his escalating paranoia, they take on a much darker tone. And it's not just his fans who are noticing. Insiders in the entertainment industry are reportedly shaken by his most recent statements. Some believe Ye might actually know something he shouldn't, something that's made him a target. Others chalk it up to a man who's simply spiraling out of control. But here's the thing. Ye has a history of saying things that sound outrageous at first, only for them to later be proven true. Remember when he called out the music industry for exploitative contracts, only for a wave of artists to come forward with similar grievances? Or when he accused brands of profiting off black culture without giving back, sparking broader conversations about representation and equity?
And I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of the mental.
And then, of course, there are the names. Oh, the names. He doesn't just make broad, sweeping statements about the industry. He names names. He's accused everyone from Jay-Z and Beyoncé to LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal of being controlled by some larger force. He's gone after his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, suggesting her family plays a role in this alleged web of control. He has even hinted that his late mother's passing was part of some larger conspiracy, a claim that sent shockwaves through his fan base and beyond. These aren't just passing comments. These are deeply personal, deeply disturbing accusations that leave people wondering just how much of what Ye says is rooted in reality.
Never been back to the hospital since 2015. But every time they say I'm crazy, it's just what I'm saying.
Of course, Ye being Ye, his moments of clarity are often overshadowed by his more outlandish behavior. Take, for example, his recent feud with Playboy Cardi. What started as a professional disagreement quickly spiraled into a bizarre public spat involving Cardi's child and the mother of that child. Then there's his ongoing obsession with Taylor Swift, which reached new heights when he claimed, without evidence, that both Justin Bieber and Harry Styles had been romantically involved with her. It's this mix of truth-telling and outlandishness that makes Ye so difficult to pin down. One moment he's exposing industry secrets, the next he's embroiled in petty feuds and making wild accusations. It's almost as if he's daring people to dismiss him, to call him crazy so that the truths he does reveal get buried under the noise. But what if that's the point? What if West's erratic behavior is a smokescreen, a way to say the unsayable, without facing the full consequences? It's a theory that's gaining traction among his more devoted followers, who see him not as a man unraveling, but as a whistleblower operating under the guise of chaos. To them, his funeral plans aren't just a morbid curiosity, they're a message. By charging admission and using the funds to support local communities, Ye is essentially saying, even in death, I'll do more for the people than the industry ever has. It's a bold statement, one that positions Ye as a martyr of sorts, a man willing to sacrifice everything, even his reputation, to expose the truth.
Control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James.
But here's the thing about martyrs. Their stories rarely end well. And Ye knows this. He's said as much in his tweets, where he's openly questioned why so many prominent figures in the industry seem to meet untimely ends. He's pointed to the demises of Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, and Prince as examples, suggesting that their fates might not have been as accidental as the official narratives would have us believe. It's a chilling thought, one that adds an extra layer of urgency to West's recent actions. If he truly believes he's next, then everything he's doing, every tweet, every outburst, every plan for a week-long funeral, is his way of leaving a legacy, of ensuring that his voice is heard, even if he's no longer around to speak.
She has made this very clear. She wants the kid to have a relationship with their father. He's not trying to stand in the way of that. But when he says things like this, at some point, she has to be thinking, I don't know if this is good for our kid.
And that's what makes this story so compelling, so deeply unsettling. Because whether you believe Ye is paranoid or prophetic, one thing is clear. He's not backing down. If anything, he seems more determined than ever to get his message out, no matter the cost. And as the industry watches, one question looms larger than all the rest. What does Ye know that we don't? But as if West's unraveling funeral plans and cryptic warnings weren't enough to keep the world on edge, the chaos in his personal life reached a fever pitch with the catastrophic implosion of his marriage to Bianca Censori. What began as a whirlwind romance, complete with secret ceremonies and vows exchanged just weeks after his divorce from Kim Kardashian, has now devolved into a fiery wreckage of scandal, betrayal, and eyebrow-raising accusations. The stunning, architect from Australia, once thought to be West's grounding force, has reportedly left him in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. And the fallout? Oh, it's messy.
Absolutely, I did. That was my fault. They're saying that you don't take accountability. No, that was my fault. I didn't want to have children with this person after the first 2 months of being with her. But that wasn't God's plan.
The streets are buzzing with whispers about what really went down between Ye and Bianca. And let's just say, it's not your typical breakup story. The cracks in their relationship weren't just showing, they were gaping chasms. Public feuds, relentless social media rants, and West's refusal to tone down his increasingly erratic behavior reportedly pushed Bianca to her breaking point. Sources close to the couple claimed that her concerns about West's unpredictability only grew after his most recent antics, including his now infamous decision to design a fully transparent dress for her to wear at the 2025 Grammy Awards. That dress wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a declaration of West's obsession with controlling every aspect of their relationship, right down to how Bianca presented herself to the world. But here's where it gets even stranger. Because this isn't just a story about a marriage falling apart. No, this is Ye we're talking about. And nothing about his life operates on a normal scale. Reports suggest that Bianca didn't just walk away quietly. Oh no, she fled. According to West's own lyrics in his new track Bianca, she took the Maybach, tracked her location through the car's app, and vanished into the night after allegedly trying to have him committed. In the song, Ye paints himself as a man blindsided by betrayal, singing about how he doesn't understand why she left, why she was having a panic attack, or why she tried to involve medical professionals. But let's be real. Anyone who's been paying attention to West's recent behavior can probably connect the dots.
I don't think that Kanye West can shock us anymore, and then he says something that is so shocking, so alarming. It's one thing to go after Kim, say whatever you want, I guess, sex-wise. It's horrible, but he says it. To say things that will redound against the kids is just unforgivable. I mean, we've been through this so many times. We say it all the time. Wearing the Nazi shirt is unforgivable. The Klan hood...
Bianca, who'd stood by Ye through his controversies and public meltdowns, reportedly couldn't take it anymore. Insiders say she felt increasingly trapped, not just by West's volatile behavior, but by his growing paranoia. He allegedly became obsessed with the idea that people, friends, family, even industry insiders were plotting against him. And that paranoia? It didn't stay confined to his Twitter feed. Bianca reportedly confided in friends that West's constant rants about being targeted and controlled started to feel less like warnings and more like a suffocating spiral. The breaking point, it seems, was his decision to publicly align himself with Sean Giddy Combs, a man whose ongoing legal troubles alone would be enough to make any partner uneasy.
That Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to...
But Bianca wasn't just worried about West's public alliances. There were also private moments that left her shaken. Close sources have claimed that Ye had become obsessed with tracking her movements, checking the Maybach app incessantly to confirm her location. He reportedly framed it as an act of protection, insisting that he was keeping her safe from the forces he believed were out to harm them both. To outsiders, though, it felt more like control than concern. Friends of Bianca have described the atmosphere in West's world as suffocating, a constant swirl of paranoia and surveillance that made it nearly impossible for her to breathe, let alone make her own decisions. And then, there were the whispers about the escalating tension between Bianca and Ye's inner circle. It's no secret that Ye surrounds himself with a small, fiercely loyal group of advisors, people who have stuck by him through every meltdown, every public scandal. But according to insiders, Bianca began to clash with some of these key figures, who reportedly saw her as an outsider disrupting the delicate balance of West's world. There were arguments, icy silences, and at times outright hostility. The more Bianca tried to assert herself, the more she felt pushed to the sidelines, as if West's loyalty to his entourage outweighed his commitment to her. You know, the thing about the kids.
You know, the thing about the kids at some point here, and not for the younger ones, it's at some point. For North, it's right now, right? That even if she doesn't see it, even if somehow Kim is able to keep that away from her, the kids that her friends at school, they're going to know about it. They're going to see it. And it puts the kids in a horrible situation.
Perhaps the most telling sign of the relationship's collapse came during West's controversial decision to release his new track featuring Diddy, North, and others. Behind closed doors, Bianca had reportedly begged Ye not to move forward with the project, echoing Kim's concerns about the potential fallout. But Ye, ever defiant, refused to listen. For Bianca, it wasn't just about the song. It was about a pattern of behavior that left her feeling unheard and dismissed. When Ye ignored her pleas, it wasn't just another argument. It was the moment she realized that her voice no longer mattered in their relationship. And that, sources say, was the final straw. And let's talk about Diddy for a second, because his involvement in West's life is a whole scandal in itself. The two have always had a complicated relationship, but West's recent decision to release a song featuring both Diddy and his own daughter, North, has sent shockwaves through his inner circle. The song, which Ye dropped despite Kim Kardashian's explicit objections, has been a lightning rod of controversy. Kim reportedly begged Ye not to release the track, even going so far as to involve lawyers in an attempt to stop it. She didn't want their daughter tied to Diddy or his legal woes. But Ye, ever the provocateur, ignored her pleas. And the fallout from that decision? It's been nothing short of catastrophic.
Tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false.
Kim is reportedly considering going back to court to strip Ye of his say in decision-making for their children, a move that could completely upend their current custody arrangement. And honestly, who could blame her? West's decision to involve their daughter in a project tied to Diddy, a man currently facing some of the most damaging allegations of his career, feels reckless at best and damaging at worst. But Ye, in classic fashion, doubled down. He posted screenshots of text exchanges with Kim, accusing her of trying to control him and threatening to go to war if she didn't back down. It's the kind of drama that feels almost Shakespearean. Two powerful figures locked in a bitter battle, with their children caught in the crossfire.
The judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
And then there's the Diddy phone call, which has added yet another layer of intrigue to this already convoluted saga. The leaked call, in which Diddy warns Ye to be careful because they're trying to end us, has only fueled West's paranoia. Diddy's ominous tone, paired with his gratitude for Ye taking care of his kids, has left many speculating about what's really going on behind the scenes. Is Diddy just another pawn in West's narrative of industry control and betrayal, or is there something deeper? A shared understanding between two men who feel they've been wronged by the same system? Either way, the call has added fuel to the fire, with fans and critics alike dissecting every word for hidden meaning. But let's not forget about the broader context here. West's recent rants about controlled celebrities and Hollywood sacrifices might sound like the ramblings of a man on the edge, but they've struck a nerve with a certain segment of his fan base. These are the people who believe Ye isn't just speaking out of paranoia, he's speaking out of knowledge. They see his accusations against industry giants like Jay-Z and Beyoncé as evidence of a larger conspiracy, one that Ye is bravely exposing at great personal cost. And whether you believe him or not, you can't deny that his willingness to name names has made him a lightning rod for controversy.
All that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that. The people in the shoot have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night he was there.
But here's the thing. When you're Ye, controversy isn't just a byproduct of your actions. It's the fuel that keeps the engine running. And right now, that engine is roaring louder than ever. Between his crumbling marriage, his escalating feud with Kim, and his increasingly dark accusations about the industry, Ye is a man on a mission. But where that mission leads, and whether it ends in vindication or disaster, is anyone's guess. So, what do you think? Is Ye a truth-teller exposing uncomfortable realities, or is he spiraling deeper into his own paranoia? Are his actions the result of a man under pressure, or is there a method to his madness? Let us know your thoughts down below, and we'll see you in the next one.